So let's add a little bit more detail. What exactly is Moon doing to every particle on Earth? Let's just think about the surface because things are moving on the surface, but it turns out that the atmosphere also feels the tidal force because of what the net effect is, and even the continents, the plates feel the tidal force. Okay, so let's start with just thinking about gravitational pull on something that's sitting on the surface because of the moon. The moon is pretty heavy, so it's heavy enough and close enough to create a gravitational pull, right? So here is a moon. Let's assume for the moment that all the gravitational pull is to the center of the moon because it's far enough away and it's small enough that we can assume that the moon's mass is clustered very closely to its center. Okay, so if you are here on the zenith, which means you are assumed that the moon is sitting right on the equatorial plane of the Earth, we will see a little bit later on that actually that's not the case. Just like Earth is tilted, the moon also has a declination to the Earth's equatorial plane. So here, the point that's facing directly towards the moon is called the zenith. And the point that is exactly on the other side is called nadir, N-A-D-I-R. But remember that the Earth is rotating around its axis, so the zenith and the nadir are going to constantly change, right? And away from the center of the Earth, you have different angles at which the gravitational force is being exerted by the moon. So the point at zenith is obviously closest to the moon. As you go away, especially to the nadir, you are getting away from the moon, so the gravitational pull also decreases, as you can see by the size of the arrow. At nadir, the arrow is smaller, these are smaller, gets bigger, and at the zenith it's maximum. So everything on Earth is being pulled by the gravitational force of the moon. Okay, this is something to remember. Now we have to add to it this fact that the Earth-Moon system is wobbling together around the sun. And this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, but you just watch the animation to make sure you understand. Okay, so there is the centripetal force acting on each point on Earth. Why? Because as the Earth is wobbling because of this barycenter moving around the sun in a wobble, we will see the animation again soon, each point on Earth is making a little circle around the barycenter. Okay? Each point on Earth is making a little circle around the barycenter. And remember the ball and the string story? So the same thing here. It's the same radius of the circle. Okay? Because Earth is solid. It's just going boom, boom, boom around the barycenter, which is actually within the Earth. The center of mass of the Moon-Earth system is within the Earth, right? Because Earth is very heavy and Moon is lighter, and the center is away from the Earth center, but it's within Earth. Okay, so the centripetal force is acting on each point on Earth because of this circle. Okay, so this is how it looks. Here is the moon going around the Earth, and here is the barycenter away from the center of the Earth, but within the Earth. And if you imagine that you put a pen on each point on Earth here, and there is some giant paper under, then each point on Earth is going to draw a little circle. Okay, that's what we showed here. Each point has a little circle, and there is a centripetal force going to the middle of that circle. Okay, so here is the wobble we saw before, and here is the same thing again, now being shown with the barycenter as a cross. So you look at this again. Here is moon going around the Earth. The barycenter is located 4,700 kilometers away from the center of the Earth, and each point you look at, there's a point here, there's a point here, and there's a point here. They're all making a circle of the same radius because of being tethered to the barycenter. Okay, so here it is. There is the barycenter. Each point is making a little circle because of being tethered to the barycenter. Okay, maybe I said around the barycenter, but that's not true. Just around its own point. Okay, so just look at this animation, make sure you understand. There's a centripetal force on each point on Earth because the Earth is tethered to the barycenter as the Earth's moon system wobbles together around the sun. Okay, that's the new thing that you're going to learn. What are we going to do now? Essentially, we're going to combine the gravitational force of the moon and the centripetal force and find the net force. That's going to be our tidal force felt by each point on Earth. Very simple. Just watch those 2-3 animations together, understand the gravitational pull by the moon at each point, centripetal force because of this barycenter around each point, and we'll find the net force.